Daniel had just finished closing the shutters of his small repair shop in a quiet Oregon town when he heard soft footsteps behind him. Turning around, he saw a 19-year-old girl standing hesitantly near the door, her hands trembling as she clutched the strap of a worn-out bag. Her eyes looked tired, like she hadn't slept properly in days. She swallowed hard. Before speaking, her voice barely louder than a whisper, "Can you give me a hug? Please?" Daniel blinked in surprise, unsure what had led her to ask such a vulnerable question at such an unusual moment. For a few seconds, Daniel simply stared, trying to understand the pain hidden behind her trembling voice. He was a single father and had learned to recognize when someone was silently breaking inside. The girl's shoulders were stiff, like she was holding herself together with the last bit of strength she had left. Gently, he nodded and stepped forward. She didn't hesitate. She leaned in and hugged him. Tightly, almost desperately, Daniel could feel her entire body shaking, as though the weight of her struggles was finally too heavy to hide anymore. The hug lasted longer than he expected. Daniel didn't rush her, didn't ask questions, didn't make her feel wrong for needing a moment of kindness. He placed one supportive hand on her back, steady but respectful, letting her know she was safe. When she finally pulled away, her eyes were filled with tears she could no longer hold back. "I'm sorry," she murmured, wiping her cheeks quickly. "I didn't know where else to go. I really needed someone to care." The honesty in her words hit Daniel deeply, leaving him speechless for a moment. Concern replaced the surprise on Daniel's face as he gently guided her to sit down on a small bench outside the shop. The evening air was cool, and the street was quiet except for the distant hum of passing cars. "You don't have to be sorry," Daniel said softly. "Everyone needs help. Sometimes." The girl, who still hadn't shared her name, looked down at her, hands gripping them to stop the shaking. For the first time that day, she felt like someone actually saw her. Not as a burden, not as a stranger, but as a human being who desperately needed kindness. Daniel brought the girl inside the shop, switching on the small heater near the counter so she wouldn't feel cold. She sat quietly, still wiping her eyes, but her breathing was calmer now. Daniel handed her a warm cup of tea and waited patiently until she was ready to speak. After a long pause, she whispered, "My name is Lily." Her voice cracked, but she continued. She told him she had been trying to survive on her own ever since she aged out of the foster system. Jobs came and went, and her last one ended suddenly, leaving her with nothing. Lily explained how she had been sleeping wherever she could, sometimes in a friend's car, sometimes at a public shelter when there was space. She didn't want pity. She just wanted someone who wouldn't treat her like she didn't matter. Daniel listened to every word, his expression steady and reassuring. Being a single father, he understood what it meant to fight through difficult days. "You're safe here," he told her quietly. Those simple words seemed to melt the tension from her shoulders, and she let out a shaky breath she had held for too long. Daniel asked if she had eaten anything that day, and Lily shook her head. Without hesitation, he brought out a small box of snacks he kept for his son and offered them to her. She hesitated at first, but finally accepted, whispering a soft, "Thank you." As she ate, Daniel called his son to let him know he'd be a little late coming home. He didn't mention Lily's struggles. He simply said he was helping someone who needed it. Lily noticed his kindness in the smallest things, the way he spoke gently, the way he never made her feel embarrassed. When she finished eating, Daniel sat across from her and said, "You don't have to face everything alone. I can help you figure things out." Lily's eyes filled again, but this time not with fear, with relief. For the first time in months, someone wasn't asking her to leave, wasn't judging her, wasn't walking away. She nodded slowly, clutching the warm cup between her hands. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. Daniel smiled kindly. Just let yourself rest. Tonight, that's enough. And in that small repair shop, under soft evening lights, Lily finally felt a spark of hope return.